One of your tenants has just left. Now it's time to start a new lease, find a new tenant. The question is, how much rent should you charge? The first thing you should look at is, if you've got more than one tenant, what are the others paying? It's a good idea to keep the rents pretty much similar to all the tenancies for the similar areas. But there could be a time we may have to give more incentives or possible increasing rent depending on the current economic situation. Rising market, you're free to increase the rent a little bit more to what the previous tenant was paying. If things were declining, you notice that the area is getting harder to lease. There's vacancies around the surrounding streets and areas. You've got things are a little bit tough. Some tenants are slowing down in their payments. You've got to work out a way to encourage the right person. So that's when things like incentives come in. So you still keep the same rent. So if they're paying, for example, $300 a metre, you can still keep it at $300 a metre or increase it to $320 a square metre. But because the market is declining, you may have to give them a few months rent free, maybe do some work for them or something like that to make it more advertising, because you can bet your bottom dollar that the other landlords are doing the same thing or similar things. If they don't, that's situations where you get places vacant for 3, 6, 12 months plus. It's easy to think that the rent's going to stay the same or increase. They generally do. Not always. You get more dips in the market and you've got to do a little bit extra to get the right type of tenant to keep the place generating the income all the time. So again, you look at the tenant you're getting. Now, for example, in a restaurant situation, is their rent going to be between 8 to 12% of their turnover? Now, it's very hard for landlords to tell what sort of turnover the restaurant's going to be. Look at their past history. Have they had success at other places? Could be a restaurant, whatever it may be, but do they look like generating that sort of income at this particular place as a result of their previous experience or their business plan or something along those lines? Then it's worthwhile taking them on. But check their references, see what sort of business plan they've got, the experience they've had before, to ensure you got tenants that will be happy there, pay the rent and make money and keep everything going perfectly. Do your research, keep your ear to the ground, listen to what's going in the marketplace, adjust the rents accordingly. Again, in a declining market as well as new tenants, or you may have to reduce rent slightly. Again, even the current tenants, maybe you can withhold increases in rent. Best thing to do something, because when you look after your tenants in the bad times, generally it'd be easier for them to look after you in the good times. Do your homework, keep your ear to the ground, know what's going on. So you're paying a fair market rent to ensure you maintain full occupancy for as much as possible. If you don't lose track of what's going on in the marketplace, you may start losing tenants. More difficult finding new tenants to fill it in. And you don't want to be in that situation.